Hello, welcome to Irish Football Fan TV. We're back with the League of Ireland podcast. I'm here with Paul, and Paul, it was a bad week. Bohs won 3-0 last week, lose 3-0 this week.
Who was a bad week for?
I think anybody who cares about Irish football, really, big club like Bohs losing, it's not good for Irish football, really, and that's what we care about here at Irish Football Fan TV.
Yeah, okay. That's a nice way to intro, but yeah, okay. Tell me more.
Yeah, look, I was at the game, and it was. I know there was a few goals in it, but it was a pretty bad game to watch. It was pretty sloppy in the first half. Having said that, I would say Pats were on top. In the 17th minute, the first goal came. It was a cross into the box. I think it was Brandon Kavanagh, free kick. James Talbot comes out the punch, falls to Chris Forrester on the edge of the box, and really nice finish on the volley into the left side of the goal. So Pats up 1-0. Really poor from Bohs in the first half. Created nothing. Really didn't get their foot in the ball at all. We move into the second half, and Bohs, to be fair, did come back on top. Possession-wise, didn't really create anything. Looked kind of bereft of ideas going forward. Moose came on as well. Didn't look great. Whelan up front didn't look great after scoring a hat-trick. And then in the 83rd minute, after Melia coming on with about half an hour to go, he scores a tap in from close range. Jay McClellan, nice move down the left side by Pats, to be fair. Jay McClellan ball into the box, and Mason Melia, what a talent getting on the end of that, scoring, making it 2-0 for Pats. Then in the 90th minute, Jay McClellan again, the two subs in the second half, getting on the score sheet for Pats. Nice move again by Pats. Breslin down the left side, ball into the box, nice finish by Jay McClellan. Having said that, I don't think Pats will be too happy about the performance. Obviously delighted with the result. I thought they were sloppy at times, and I'm sure Stephen Kenny will go over that with them. But from a Bohs perspective, I think it's not looking good at all, to be honest. In the kind of Bohs circles online, it's really kind of getting
Toxic.
not looking great for Reynolds.
Toxic.
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
Toxic doesn't even begin to describe it, to be honest.
Was that in the Facebook group?
Oh, God, no. Jeez, I wouldn't go near that. I think Steve is admin of the Shamrock Rovers Facebook group. But
Is he?
yeah, I think so, yeah. I'm sure he'll come on next week and verify that. He's sick this week. But yeah.
Practicing his French, let's be honest.
Yeah, I think so.
So he can speak with Muse. But the reason why I was smirking at you there when you said Muse is just I had the image of him coming on the TV. He just still looks like he's carrying a few.
In the Lost Mary kit.
Yeah, it looks like a vape. Someone said there recently. I thought that was quite funny. But no, look, I thought it was a good game. From I watched it at home from a neutral's point of view. I thought it was a good game. I think Pats look really good, and they've strength and depth off the bench, and I think that's what's really getting them over the line in games. I was at the Derry game where they beat Derry, and Stephen Kenny name-checked Jay McClellan as someone who think he played midfield in that game. So he seems to be quite an important player for Stephen Kenny. Whether he's a squad player or not, he's quite important. Good to see Mason Melia back on the score sheet. I know you spoke to Joe Redmond after the game, and he was, praising him and saying that he'd been out injured with a lengthy injury or whatever, and he's came back and he scored. And then McClellan himself got on the score sheet. Yeah, so Pats are looking good. Pats are looking like the Pats that ended the season last year. But again, it's very early in the season to be getting carried away, but they're hitting a bit of form. Bohs, on the other hand, it's weird. Like this time of the year is just weird because he can win a match next week and all's forgiven, and then it'll reset, and then he loses a game. It's chaos. So I think that's just going to be the case for the season. I think if he loses 2 or 3 in a row, he'll probably be gone. They replace him with someone. I mean, who do you probably think of someone like Vinnie Perth or something coming in?
Rory Higgins or something.
Yeah, again.
I'd love to see
former Derry manager, like Divine.
I don't want to be on here and calling for someone's job or whatever.
100%. No. But I'm just saying, if you go 2-3 defeats as the big club, as you like to call yourselves, then and actually in any job it's the same, unless you're Sean Dyche at Everton and you stay on there after maybe winning 3 games all year. But as far as Bohs are concerned, like they want to be, up near the top European places, and if they keep losing games, because they have a good squad, like,
oh yeah,
it's not a case like they're probably arguably the best goalkeeper in the league. They've got Dawson Devoy, they've got Ross Tierney, they've got Mousse, they've got good players. Rob Cornwall's back. Connor Parsons is very good. But they've got good players. Not like they're struggling. Like you can understand if it was Drogheda or something like that. You know what I mean? So that's where Kev Doherty could be an option. If that's to be the case. I'm not, again, like you, I'm not trying to stir the pot here or anything like that. But I'm just saying that if results keep going the way, how many games have Bohs won? 2. Rovers, Diviva, and the
Watford.
other, it was spanking a 3-0. But and Collie Whelan, class player up front as well, had his injuries, but yeah, I don't know. I think the next weeks are going to be telling. But they do need to start winning games just to keep the pressure off. Pat's on your hand, flying.
Just to touch on Pat as well, like you said, it's worth saying, like, that's a great win at home, 3-0. I would say they'd be disappointed in the second half performance because they did let Bohs back into it while they were 1-0 up, and they were quite sloppy on the ball. But I think the thing that they'll be most happy with is a clean sheet, because questions have been asked about them defensively this season, and they kind of put them to bed a little bit with this game. But with Bohs, I think last week the 3-0 win against Waterford was kind of papering over the cracks a little bit. And like you said, I'm not calling for his job or anything, but the writing does seem to be on the wall. At this stage, he's kind of lost the fan base, it feels like. If that were to happen, I wouldn't like this. We've tried the kind of experienced League of Ireland manager, aside from Kevin Doherty, because I think he's an absolutely excellent manager. He's the one that I would say, if we had the opportunity to get him, I'd get him. If not, I'd kind of go the Shells route, bring in one of these, charismatic ex-players, who are going to carry with them a lot of respect. The likes of Richard Dunn, who wants to get into management, John O'Shea, performed quite well for Ireland. I'm not sure if that's a role that he'd be interested in, but
I'd say he'd probably be looking at England, but Dunn would be one, yeah.
Maybe
I think he did an interview before
He did, yeah.
Reynolds, so Reynolds had more credentials, more experience. He was with the 21s, he was up with Derry, he managed Waterford, I think he got them up, so that's probably why he edged it.
Yeah.
If he edged it, now I'm just speculating that.
And look, yeah, like I said, I'm not trying to, advocate for him losing his job, but I just feel like that's the way it's heading at the moment.
But ultimately, the fans will control that. If it's a toxic atmosphere, unfortunately, they will have to do that. But as you said, and I've said, we're not calling for that. I like the man. I know him personally, like from interactions and stuff. He's a good man. And I'd like this for his own sake. I hope he turns things around.
Yeah, me too. As a Bohs fan, I hope he turns things around. But me and you, of course, follow English clubs who we know that feeling when it just feels like it's kind of on the edge of a change.
Who you telling?
Yeah, exactly. So
this is the first time I've ever worn Everton top on a FFTV video. I'm sure. So
hopefully the last time, I suppose. But unless you're wearing that Jake O'Brien jersey, it's a lovely one.
Well, we've got more Irish than most clubs, Seamus Coleman. Yeah. Seamus Coleman gave me this top.
Are you mate with him?
No, I'm just saying so people think.
Right.
So people think that's why I'm at the top.
Look, moving swiftly on from Bohs, I think we'll move on from that. Drogheda picking up their first loss in a while, actually, losing 2-1 at home to Shamrock Rovers. Shamrock Rovers actually surprised me in this game because I thought that's such a difficult game, especially they've kind of been struggling, got back on track with Pats a little bit. I still had question marks over them going forward. So did Steve, who is a big Rovers fan, as I said, Facebook group admin. But scored 2 goals away in Drogheda, which I was quite surprised by. It was a couple of big chances in the first half, and then Drogheda go in front. Connor Healy after Darren Markey. How's it?
Keely,
yeah.
You said Healy. I think you were thinking of the rugby player.
I am in brothers with him, but wish I was, because it was a great volley on the edge of the box after Darren Markey nicked the ball off Dylan Watts on the edge of Rovers' box. Clipped it in, Connor Keely on the edge of the box.
It's Josh Keely, not the goalkeeper, it's his brother.
Oh, it's his brother,
Yeah,
is it?
yeah.
Very good keeper in Leighton Orient, isn't it?
Yeah, on loan from Spurs.
Yeah. Anyway, great finish, edge of the box. Not one that you'd expect from a centre-back, but anyway, puts it past Ed McGinty in goal and puts Drogheda 1-0 up, and you're thinking, same formula as the Shells match, same formula as the Bohs match, go 1-0 in front in the first half and then shut up shop and put in a great defensive performance. But it wasn't that this time around, because in the 41st minute there was a mistake at the back, kind of a mix-up with the centre-backs for Drogheda. Aaron Green nicks the ball and runs through one-on-one, great finish against Luke Dennison, and goes off with the old man celebration. I wonder, is that a bit of a shot at the few of us who have been questioning Rovers' kind of aging striker?
No, I'd say it's a Rovers fans thing, saying he's too old, probably.
Facebook group sort of thing.
Maybe. Steve leading the chase there.
We'll have to ask Steve about that one. 70th minute then, Rovers go 2-1 up, still on top in the second half, has to be said, and the 70th minute they get the winner. Graham Burke picks the ball up in midfield. Danny Grant, nice move down the right side, feeds it to Graham Burke, and beautiful touch and finish into the bottom right corner. Graham Burke, I've been saying for the last few weeks, is, I think, Rovers' best player, and going forward especially, I think he's been very good, and a team that's kind of struggled going forward, I would say, put a few of them questions to bed in this match.
Yeah, well, obviously you probably skipped on the fact that they had a last minute penalty saved by McGinty.
It was chaos at the end.
Yeah, Steve was loving life when he saved it. Graham Burke for me is he's just a total street footballer. He's old school. He's worth the entrance fee alone. Just watching him play football, because if you just sat there and watched Graham Burke play football, he's so good. Even in like them European games, he was just so good. The game against Mold, he was a standout player, and he looked like he was playing on one leg. I don't know what was wrong with him injury wise. Glad to see him back now and playing, but he's so important to that Rovers team and the attack. So great to see him playing. Probably good that Noonan's been taken out of the where it was like Green and Burke have stepped up, so it kind of took the pressure off Noonan a little bit, because it seemed like he was the one. Oh, he's going to be the next Melia. Just kind of let him develop, give him time. Not that we were, like, people were trying to say online that we were hyping him up, which we weren't. We were just kind of saying it was great to see the 16-year-old doing what he did at the time. I think he's going to need a little bit more time, but I wouldn't be surprised now if because he's gone under the radar, people start forgetting about him, he'll start scoring some goals, and I think Rovers fans will be happy with that. But yeah, look, Shamrock Rovers showing why they've been so successful for so long. They're like Man City in Ireland, in fairness to them. You probably won't like to admit that, being a Bohs fan, but like, you have to just kind of sometimes call a spade and say they've been so good for so long because they're so well drilled, but also they've got experienced winners in their squad.
No, absolutely, you're right, dead right. They are that, and Graham Burke has been a huge part of that. Brilliant footballer, just glides around the pitch. Like you said, great to watch him. But like you also mentioned, chaos at the end of the game. In the 95th
Yeah, sorry,
minute.
I jumped ahead. I didn't know. I thought you might have just didn't add
No, you're grand. In the 95th minute, Ed McGinty comes tearing out and clatters Luke Heaney in the box, and ref points to the spot, and you're thinking, geez, Drogheda have gotten away with one here, because Rovers have been quite on top in this match. And then Shane Farrell steps up, and Ed McGinty makes up for it because he pulls off the save. Heroics at the end of the game.
0-0.
Yeah, and saves the 3 points for Rovers. A game that I know Kevin Doherty spoke after the match, said he didn't want to be too critical of his players because of, the great form that they've been on, still sit top of the table. But probably a disappointing game for him, especially considering the 2 goals that they gave up. One very good goal, to be fair, by Graham Burke, but the first one in particular goes against how good they've been defensively this season.
Yeah, I mean, I think with Kev, I think he has to be careful of what he says, almost because of the squad he has. He has to be careful that he doesn't start having pops at players and stuff like that, because they are playing maybe above the skill set, maybe what they have. I could be wrong in saying that, and he might tell me like I'm totally wrong in that sense, but I think he's getting the most out of them. Rovers are a good side. People are going on as if it's, I don't know, like Galway or something like that they're playing. They were unlucky not to get a draw against Shamrock Rovers. I think this is, you win some, you lose some. I think at times Kev Doherty feels a bit frustrated with referees in the league, because I think decisions have gone towards the bigger clubs at times, and it's like little old Drogheda. So that's probably why sometimes he feels a little bit aggrieved. But I think, look, if that penalty goes in, his post-match interview is quite different. It's the kick of a ball, really, at the end of it. So he's probably just quite disappointed that they missed the penalty at the end, considering that they got the penalty so late. Look, it's life, it's football, happens.
Yeah, I think he is a great manager, and he's got that side playing, I think, way beyond any expectations people had of them. So I would trust him to get things back on track. Unnecessary stray shot there at Galway, by the way, who got the win this week.
I'm just saying, like, Galway are on the up season and stayed well.
Yeah,
but I just mean,
yeah, no, I know what you mean. Yeah, Rovers
They'll have a whole bleeding maroon army after me now. Thanks.
Rovers have been, dominant for years now, and a team that you can't take lightly at all, especially or even considering Drogheda's form this season. But moving on to your team, Shells, who drew 1-1 at home to Cork City, and it was an entertaining first half, to be fair. Both keepers making big saves. Conor Kearns, we know what he's about, has been a very good keeper for a long time in the League of Ireland. Troost in goal for Cork I think he's shown to be quite a good signing for them. He's done very well to begin the season. But yeah, as I say, keepers in huge amount of action in the first half. But 0-0 going into the half. But in the 50th minute, Cork make the breakthrough. I think it was Shipston shot from distance that was deflected off Paddy Barrett, I think, that sends Conor Kearns completely the wrong way. Makes the save actually with his feet, and then Rory Keating's there to finish the ball off. 1-0 Cork. Frustrating couple of weeks, I'd say, so far for Shells. Been struggling to pick up wins, but they get back on track in this game because they equalised in the 70th minute, a goal from Evan Caffrey. The ball gets into the box, headed away, but falls to Evan Caffrey, who's also inside the box. Beautiful controlled volley past Truce to get Shells back on terms. Like I said, difficult couple of weeks though for Shells.
Yeah, but he said during the week that I think it was on Thursday, Duff said about a lot of players were out sick, so he was struggling to pick a side. He was basically, whoever turns up in front of me tomorrow will be playing. I don't know if that's mind games or whatever, but it seemed as though there was a bit of a virus going around the team. I must say I'm impressed with Evan Caffrey's really stepped up in recent weeks. He got a couple of goals. I think he got a goal against Galway. Yeah. It was a nice goal in the nice light blue kit, which I have. And yeah, far better than that Guinness one you have. But anyway,
no way.
Yeah, but
Chadwick's,
yeah. They should change the colour of it. But however, I think I think Cork are going to be a good side, and they're going to be a thorn in everyone's side throughout. I mean, when they have the two players up top like Maguire and Keaton, they're gonna cause problems against a lot of sides. Keaton really seems to feel at home at Cork. He's really well thought of down there. If you become a player that's a cult hero down there, they love you. Johnny Maguire, Rory Keaton, probably Greg Bolger probably falls in that category now as well. They really get behind the players. I love that about the Cork fans, to be fair, is that they really they galvanise the team a lot. So I'm not really too worried about. I think Shells will struggle to defend the title this year, yeah, because I think some teams maybe have figured them out and they're trying to play a bit more expansive. I don't think the pitch of talk is helping them play the football that maybe Duff is looking to play. And might see them pick up more points away from home in the next couple of weeks or whatever. Meatball's not really been playing as well as he had been at the start. Looks kind of frustrated. So things just need to kind of maybe one kind of win to just kind of set things back to normal. As you said about Kevin Darcy just getting back on track, I trust Duff to get things back on track. The players absolutely love him and run through brick walls for him and Joey O'Brien and probably the rest of the coaching staff. So yeah, I mean, look, it's very early days though. But yeah, it's not the best results, but they're not losses.
And it's worth saying.
Sorry, it was a loss against Drogheda, but it's not a loss there.
Yeah. It's worth saying as well, Shells had a couple of big chances at the end to nick a win, but just weren't able to find the back of the net. Like you said, good away draw for Cork, I think, on the road. Like you said, those fans who really kind of sucked that ball into the goal because they were brilliant in talking. Worth saying as well, I forgot to mention that Drogheda fans was great display before that Rovers game. They've been brilliant up in, I don't even know what that stadium's
Weaver
called.
Park.
It's called something else this year, something in Lamb Park, I think.
I was changing every year. Then it was heading the game park. Then it was
Hunky Dory.
Tato Park. Oh yeah, no, I don't know what it's called at the minute. But the name of it is Weaver Park originally.
Anyway, back on point. Good away draw for Cork. Had to travel a long distance playing the
Rebel Army.
Yeah, so good result for them. Moving on to your least favourite team in the league, Galway, who picked up a win at home to Waterford. And I do have to say, this was
the Tribesmen. Is that what they're called?
Yeah,
they're going to hate me now, thanks to you.
The Maroon Army, as you called them.
The Tribesmen. Johnny Ward would be calling me out now. Anyway, sorry, go on.
Pretty dull game, to be honest. It was an even enough first half, not too many chances really to speak of. Galway probably just about shading it, I'd say. And then the 80th minute, they got their goal. That man again, Vincent Borden. It's been the Americans who have been saving Galway at the moment. Seems to be involved in a goal or assist in every game, him and Patrick Hickey.
Galway.
Yeah, and Galway hang in for the win. I don't really have too much in this game because there wasn't really too many chances to speak of. But Waterford kind of hitting a bit of a lull in the season because they'd started on fire and now kind of picking up a few losses here and there.
Yeah, again, but like everyone's just beating everyone now. It'll just be like that till the halfway point. It's always been like that. This is the period kind of where Shells won the league last year because they were, picking up 1-0 wins here, there, defending, playing like Drogheda, but having that little bit more like quality with like a Will Jarvis who long ball, bang, takes it, skins the fella, cuts in, right foot finish, bang, goal. That was the way a lot of it was with Shells last year, and they were just defensively solid. I think if a team like Pats or something now, and I know we're talking about Galway, I'll come back in a sec to them, but this is where I'd be looking going. Like teams just need to try and sit in, absorb, counter attack, and if you have the quality, which is, it seems as though that's the way kind of Drogheda are going. I'm not saying they're going to go win the league. I'll probably have the army after me now for saying that. But what I'm saying is they've done so well last season. They were in title contention and stuff like that. So I think that they, if they can manage to play games like that, grind out 1-0 wins, which John Caulfield's very good at, I think they could finish up near the top half, the top four. And yeah, I think if they can take some sort of inspiration from Shells last year, they should look at that because they're going on quite a good streak there. Whereas Waterford, yeah, I still think Waterford will be fine. They've got too much good players there to fall off too much. So yeah, I don't have any real. The teams that I'd be probably worried about later on this season probably be Sligo and Drogheda. Still, I know Drogheda are top of the league, but you can easily change. That can easily change.
Bohs at the moment, even.
Well, Bohs, yeah, sorry. I'll have Bohs fans after me now as well. But no, that's just the state of affairs. Bohs again. I look at every team and like they all have quality players, but the teams that probably don't, that of the 10, the teams with the probably two least quality sides are probably Drogheda and Sligo. That's why I think they'll end up there during the course of the season. You know what I mean? But look, I hope I'm wrong, and I hope there's a bit of a shock there. And you always want a little bit of a shock value. You won't if you're a Bohs fan, but you just kind of want to see a little bit of shock value and see what happens. I still like Cork again. Maybe you could look at them, but they've got quality players in their attack. So again, Cork might be maybe the third side there, but and then Bohs. So I think they'll be the four that might struggle, but I don't see Waterford struggling, if I'm being honest.
We're going to come on to Derry now in a minute because they've been struggling, but
they'll be fine.
Just with Bohs, with Bohs and Drogheda or whatever, it's interesting the kind of balance between, Drogheda, great manager, maybe on paper not the best players, but they're performing really well, getting results. Bohs, great on paper players. Do they have the coaching to kind of get the best out of them? I suppose time will only tell on that one. Just a shout out to the Galway commentator because I thought he was brilliant. He like listening to an ASMR or something, and he suited the game. Some of the sayings that he was coming out with, I was just laughing watching the highlights of it. It was gas. So I don't even know his name, but he's brilliant. You should give him a listen. Anyway, moving on to Sligo and Derry in the showgrounds. Derry,
bit of a derby that is.
Well, both teams have needed a win, and Derry ends up getting it 1-0. Pretty even first half, both teams with some chances, and then the 20th minute, Michael Duffy got a free kick in a crossing position and whips the ball in, and the ball just sails right through into the far side netting. There was a bit of discussion with the referee Rob Hennessy and the linesman over whether there was interference or an offside, but the goal stands and Derry go 1-0 up. And then really just seeing the game out. I know Brian Maher had to make a really big save in the second half of Stephen Mallon in the last 10 minutes. Sligo kind of piled on the pressure then.
He played with Derry.
I think he did. He played with Bohs as well. He is a talented player, but has struggled with injuries through his career. But as I said, much needed win for Derry. Michael Duffy, that man again, saving Derry.
Yeah, Michael Stuffy, what a player.
He almost reminds me of Bruno Fernandes at United. It's like, what would they do without him?
Yeah, yeah, people going on about Derry being like, oh, they're terrible because they lost against Pats, but like, and they lost against Shells, but I don't get it. Like, I don't think, like, with the investment that they've had in, yes, okay, they should, but a lot of their squad's quite kind of aging a little bit.
But do you not think that should be in that, like, they're looking for results right now instead of looking towards the future?
Yes, in a sense, but I still think he's trying to gel that team. He's still obviously a new manager, so there's still players that have gone out. There's players that have come in. He's got rid of McElhenney. Both McElhenneys are actually gone. And there's other players that have gone as well. So he's brought in that lad Todd. Is it Todd? The guy
Todd, yeah.
That they no or
Holt, Kevin Holt.
Holt, yeah, sorry, off Dundee. Who I think they have to kind of get him in and see what he's like, and him alongside Mark Connolly were two monsters. And once they get that side of it sorted and maybe gel a partnership there, they've got a really good goalkeeper, they've got a good midfield, and then it's just they need the goals to start scoring other than Michael Duffy and spread things out there, you know what I mean? So I think once they get a bit of a rhythm, they'll be fine. I'd worry for Sligo though.
Yeah, I would worry for Sligo. I think John Russell is a good manager, but on paper that isn't a great team, relying on some very young players there. Just to go back to Derry, I am kind of concerned with them. They do pick up the win here. They get the 3 points on the road, but it's the performances that just really haven't been there. They've looked quite poor in a lot of games. They get away with 3 points against a really poor Bohs side at home, and they get the win here. But I think just the performance, and don't get me wrong, I don't blame Tiernan Lynch for this because he's been kind of thrown into a difficult situation. There's problems behind the scenes there with ownership, with recruitment, the kind of a strange off-season, bringing in the kind of profile of player that they did. As you said, quite an older squad, which would lead you to believe that they're trying to win a league right now, which they've been on the cusp of. They've been on the cusp of in recent years.
They're further away now, though.
Big time. Yeah. And like, you just wonder, me and Steve talked about this last week, whether they did kind of pull the trigger too early on Rory Higgins. Now, I know that wasn't an agreement, a kind of mutual thing, but felt like he was being pushed out there a little bit.
Will, you spoke about Bohs being toxic with Alan Reynolds. It was like that with Rory Higgins.
Yeah.
It became a bit personal, I think.
Yeah.
And don't forget, I think his brother passed away in that time and stuff like that. So he had reasons why he probably wanted to walk away, and it was probably hard for him at the same time. But yeah, and Rory seemed to be a good, like, look at where they were. Like, they were first for a large part. I know Shells were kind of always kind of there with them, but it was between the two the whole way there, and then the two of them kind of fell off a little bit towards the end. Well, not a little bit, they both fell off, and it gave Rovers and other teams a chance to kind of be in with a chance of winning it. Shells just, you know, in fairness to them, they got their act together and they won it. Derry didn't, and it was just kind of those last final couple of games, and then the cup final was just, yeah, I think it was the final nail in the coffin, unfortunately for him, and it was from then where he lost his job. But yeah, they're definitely like worse off than they were last year. Like, I'd say maybe even if Higgins was there now, they'd probably be doing a lot better in terms of results with the squad that he had, because he had them playing some good stuff as well, you know, and they were winning games, and you know, it was the hard place to go. And
he had built something over a number of years there. Like, they're challenging for leagues. Nearly.
They won the cup against Shells.
Yeah, getting into cup finals, challenging for leagues, and things went south very quickly there, it seemed, when, you know, it kind of tailed off towards the end of the year. As I said, nothing to do with Tiernan Lynch, because I think he's been thrown into a difficult situation here. But I know, like, we're being very negative on Derry here. They did end up winning and getting the 3 points away from home. But I do think there is cause for concern there this season when it comes to performances. And it has to be said, a pretty fluky goal that got them the 3 points. You know, they all count, but at the end of the day, it wasn't like they broke down Sligo, who you would say on paper is one of the lesser teams.
Yeah, well, I think, as I said, they need just time to gel, and I think that over the next couple of weeks and stuff like that, they will. I don't think they had too many signings or whatever, but just gelling in terms of how Lynch wants them to play. And then we'll see in a couple of weeks' time. But yeah, look, it's the League of Ireland. Obviously, we're coming into the international break, so it's kind of like a welcome break, probably for everybody, to kind of refresh and come back after that, and then see, because we are talking about teams every week and we're like, oh, they're doing well, and then they pick and they lose a game, and it's like, oh well, they lost the game, and then we're talking about other teams, they lost the game, then they win a game, like Bohs last week, and they win 3-0, and then next week it's like, oh well, what's going on. So it's hard when you're doing this. You can't really be talking about kind of, I suppose, people leaving their jobs and stuff like that because it's so early in the season. People probably forget how early in the season it really is. Only 5 or 6 games. Like,
I suppose we're at risk because we follow it so much of nearly over-analysing it a little bit, but I do think there is serious amount of expectations up in Derry when it comes to their fans. But look, the silver lining is they have Michael Duffy, and he's going to pull them through maybe games that they shouldn't win. Really, that's about it. Anything else you want to touch on? Or yeah, that does it for the League of Ireland podcast this week. Make sure to check us out this week because we'll have lots of content in the build-up to the Ireland matches. Also check out our Irish Abroad, which we just recorded, and we'll see you next week.